What about put yourself in Damian Lillard's shoes, who has become I've said this a lot recently, and the more I think about it, the more true it becomes, and the more I want to say it. That Damian Lillard is my favorite NBA player that I've never met, probably will never meet, and like have no reason to cheer for him other than just like he burst on the scene in the NBA. I was like, I love that guy.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why is because he represents the old school, like the kind of guys we grew up watching play, which is basically, long story short, he wants to stay at the one franchise forever. But it seems now that he basically carried everybody on his back and during their very short playoff run this year, it wasn't enough. Terry Stotts is fired. And they're kind of hitting the reset button in Portland. I'm worried, Greg, that Damian Lillard might ask for a trade. I'm worried that it might be like a back channel situation where he's like, I'm not going to ask for it, but I'm asking for it. But we're not going to make that public, but maybe ask for it, but maybe not. I don't even know how I'm putting you in an unfair spot to answer this because you played for the Blazers, but please just tell me that Damian Lillard, like, because I'm so sick of, like, I just saw today as we're recording this today, Zion Williamson is already, he's 12 games into his career and he's already wanting out of New Orleans apparently. Please tell me, give me hope that Damian Lillard will not do this and that he will just be the same guy that he's been this whole time, which is like, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to invest in what I have in front of me, and I'm not going to ring chase.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys a scoop. I was at this party one night, and Damian Lillard came up to me, and he told me personally not to tell nobody that he.
That was one of the best scoops of the
year. He told me. You have me, by the way. You started saying that.
I know. I was like, wow.
I was looking at both of y'all. Y'all both had a straight face. I was like, really? Honestly, though, actually, from what I've heard about him, just as a person, like, he's the type of guy that, you know, he doesn't want to leave Portland. And honestly, I couldn't see him leaving Portland unless it was a chance for him to end his career back home in Oakland or San Francisco.
Yeah.
I think he's just, first off, he's good enough for us to look at it and say, well, Portland's never going to trade him. If they do, they're stupid. But as you all know, well, you guys are in the media, so y'all have to spin this narrative. Nobody wants to be traded. Obviously, guys who asked for a trade have heard for a whole year and a half that, you know, he's possibly on the trading block. And he was like, well, damn, I just talked to the owner yesterday. That goes on for a year. And then he's like, man, I want to go. And then he's the bad guy. But we put it like that. Nobody wants to, you know, leave an organization that's going to take a chance on them. And I don't think he's that guy to do it. But if he was, I wouldn't blame him for wanting to go home and, you know, be where he really, like, that's his roots. He's Oakland through and through. Like, you can't, if Damian Lillard wants to retire in Oakland or San Francisco, what are you going to say to that? Like, if you're Portland, you're going to feel bad, but what are you going to say to that?
But if Damian Lillard, is he crazy? If Damian Lillard, you know, because there's some people like, of course he wants to be traded. Of course he wants out of Portland. Why would he not? Like, who would want to play in Portland without much help? And he had the game. What game was it against the Nuggets? It all sort of blends together now. But whatever that game was in Denver, when he goes insane, scores 60, and it still isn't enough, and they lose. And I think there are a lot of people looking at that are like, he'd have to be out of his mind to want to stay in Portland. Do you think he'd be out of his mind if he said that? If Damian Lillard did say that today and was like, I want to retire a Portland Trailblazer, I want my entire career here, what does Greg Oden think?
I would think great for him.
Yeah.
And I would also think that y'all forgetting that one of the biggest cheerleaders for that city now and that organization is the man who's number 8 all-time scoring, a guy who, you know, had a Nike deal when he was 19, 20 years old. He'd been in Portland, spent time in Portland, probably should have went to Portland at a younger age, but now he's there. he's going to be a mouthpiece for a lot of these younger, all-stars. People who are thinking, should I go out there, and play with this guy? We know Dame is a stand-up guy. Let me call Melo real quick and ask him what he really thinks about the organization, about the city. Like, how can we win out there? He's going to tell him, if you actually come out here and fall into place with what they got going on, it's going to be great basketball-wise. And also, it's not a lot of distractions out there in Portland if you don't go out there and find them like I did.
I mean,
but
and you got
I didn't know better.
And you got Nike HQ there. You got Adidas just moved there. I mean, if you want to market yourself, I mean, why do you think the Dames are doing so great? I mean, he's got Adidas right next to him every single day. So, I mean, if you want to build a brand, Portland's a good place to be.
But you also got to know that when you go in there, it's a system put in place and everybody falls in line because you have one of the best leaders in the NBA, one of the best players in the NBA, and Dame Lillard. So when you come there, we all follow his lead.
Yeah. And it's cool that, the greatest Olympian, Carmelo Anthony, like you said, is like, I'm a role player with Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people said he would never do.
Something special there, What Dame got going there, what they can build, there's something special there. So if you can come there, you can humble yourself and try to fit in, I think it can work. I think Portland would be a great place. And as you all know, I mean, my godson's there. It's a beautiful city and the food's there.
Hey there. Thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.